Opening words. In a world that demands our constant presence, but rarely our true attention, we gather this morning to reclaim our time. We come together out of a fast-paced, hypervigilant world, a world of endless notification, fractured thoughts, and the collective exhaustion of trying to look everywhere at once. Let us take time together to reflect on those practices we hold dear in order to slow our minds and bring them back to a more balanced way of existing. All right. So let us settle into our bodies. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of our chairs supporting us. Feeling the natural rhythm of our breath. For just a few moments, there is nothing you need to accomplish. There are no emails to clear, no headlines to scan, and no hidden threats to watch for. You do not need to perform. You do not need to do 5 things at once. Just breathe in. Breathe out. We acknowledge that the sudden quiet can sometimes feel unsettling. Breathe in. Breathe out. If your mind begins to wander, or if you feel the familiar impulse to reach for a distraction, meet yourself with gentle grace. Breathe in. Breathe out. The restlessness is not a failing. It is the simple echo of an exhausted world. Instead of filling the void, let us breathe into it. Take a moment to imagine those moments when we are so absorbed in something we love that time simply falls away. Now think of the profound healing that comes when we focus on nothing at all. Let your thoughts wander without any direction. Give your mind the permission to simply drift, to rest, and to heal. May we forgive ourselves for the weariness we carry. May we find the courage to protect our attention, recognizing that the battle for our focus is truly a battle for our quality of life. Let us sit together in a shared covenant of attention, breathing in stillness and breathing out the noise. Okay, now for our readings.
It is summertime, in the 90s, before the internet, and I'm sitting on the couch with Ben, my best friend who has a bowl cut like I do, and I asked Ben what he wants to do, and Ben says what he always says. Oh no, dude, what do you want to do? And I don't know either, because it's already 2 months in the summertime and we have done everything we think we can do. Played basketball so many times, Ben knows I will never go left. Stayed up until midnight to watch the R-rated VHS tapes my mother owns, pulled each other around in a wagon, and toilet papered every house on the street except for our own. And so we turn on the television, and Indiana Jones is playing. And afterwards we go outside because there is no internet. And we stare at the big tree on our street. The tree that is bigger than Ben's entire house, the tree that we have never been able to climb because we are little kids. But now, we are little kids that just watched Indiana Jones. And so we find some old bungee cords, and the hooks find themselves in our belt loops, and the other side's tied around the branches, and now we are almost to the top of the big tree. And anytime I am tired, I sit back, and I swing. And I quietly think to myself, maybe I am Indiana Jones. And Ben quietly thinks to himself, maybe this is a bad idea. And my belt loops quietly think to themselves, you fundamentally must understand my ability. but we are all thinking quietly. And so for a few seconds, it is silent. And at 9 years old, I transform into things I've never been before. An astronaut floating in space, a hummingbird buzzing in place, a beam of August light floating through the leaves. And then I hear a crack, which is not Indiana Jones, but my belt loops snapping apart, shrieking relief, and I fall all the way down the tree onto my back. And Ben rushes down and says, "Are you okay?" And I say, "I think so." And Ben starts to laugh. And I start to laugh, and I'm bleeding from my elbow, but it's just a scrape. And that means that I am human and alive. And we sit under the big tree and giggle until my mother comes to find us. Tell me what you want. Every door you enter, I will let you in. My friend Rihanna said that. You want to see her? Here she is. Parts of herself she never meant to show, but I got them for you. Is that too much? Are you upset with me? Here, a man belly flopping onto a lake, a goat climbing on people doing yoga, a baby crying hysterically and now laughing, a magician revealing his tricks, a photo of your old best friend who called you 3 days ago. Don't call him now. Let me show you him. You like it better that way. Look how you two dressed up together that Halloween. He doesn't want to do that anymore, except with me. I won't let him change, I promise. Why are you sad? Here, the woman you kissed 2 nights ago. She was recently in Florida. It was colder than she expected. Here, her mother, 2 huskies, little brother's graduation, view from the old apartment, best sushi she's ever had, her bestie, bestie's favorite bar, bestie's untouched birthday cake, bestie's new boyfriend, bestie's trip to Chicago, bestie's photo under the bean, bestie's girls trip. It's okay. She shared it with me so I could show you. Here, the woman you loved years ago. See? The marigold of her drink she had on her honeymoon. You don't like sweet drinks, right? Don't leave. Let's go to the temple. What an architect you've become. There you are, your face wonderfully frozen. Your funny joke, it took you so long. I'll never tell. You're safe here with me.
That poem always creeped out my students when I played it for them. And in case you missed it, he was supposed to be the internet talking. So, anyway. Hi. So after 30 years of teaching students from preschool through 12th grade, I recently stepped out of the classroom. In my final decade of teaching, I witnessed a profound shift in the human experience from when I had started teaching. My students struggled deeply to sit quiet and read, or just simply think. When asked what movies they liked, many told me movies were too boring or too long. Their mental stamina diminished. Silence didn't offer them a chance to focus. Instead, it seemed to bring discomfort. They required a constant stream of background stimulation. And the cell phones? Ask a teenager to surrender their phone for a single class period could feel as volatile as asking them to cut off their arm. But as I looked critically at my students, a mirror turned back on me. I realized that I, too, had started needing background instrumental music to just sit and write. Celtic music got me through this. My own phone constantly beckoned me to take brain breaks, to check notifications, or clear out my 4 email inboxes. Additionally, I can vividly remember my grandmother's number, her phone number from 30 or more years ago. But don't ask me what my partner Chris's phone number is. I have no clue. This isn't a youth problem like we might think it is. It is a collective human crisis. Our attention is actively being fractured. But what do we do about it? It helps to understand what is affecting us this way. And it isn't as simple as just saying cell phones are to blame. Last summer, I read Johann Hari's book, Stolen Focus, pondering all the frustrations that I'd been witnessing and experiencing in the classroom and hoping for some answers. I went into it expecting the simple critique of the evil technology boogeyman, but what I found was much deeper and an entirely fractured societal ecosystem that is actively eroding our capacity for depth. Hari points out that the world of information is constantly barraging us faster and faster. Speed is increasing every year. Infinite amounts of information are available to us at an instant, and it seems to keep going faster and faster. What's happening with our cell phones is that we put our thing in our pocket that's with us all the time, that always offers us an easy thing to do, rather than the important thing. And with so much coming at us all day long, every day, it becomes overwhelming and hard to manage. Neuroscience proves our brains can only produce 1 or 2 conscious thoughts at a time. When we claim we're multitasking, what we're actually doing is what scientists call juggling. We are rapidly switching and reconfiguring our brains from moment to moment. This juggling comes at a devastating cost. We have slower performance, more mistakes, diminished memory, and a near total loss of creativity. Worse yet, we have been interrupted so often by our environment that we've learned to actually interrupt ourselves. Even when we strip the technology away, the sudden quiet can feel unsettling, and we instinctively seek out a distraction just to fill the void. So what do we fill it with? One victim, yet also an antidote to this fractured state, is what psychologists call flow state. This is the deepest form of human focus, when you are so absorbed in a meaningful, challenging task that your self-conscious fades and time falls away. But flow is really fragile. It requires a clear goal for something that you enjoy doing and an absolute presence in it. In our modern world, we rarely pursue true flow. Instead, we crash. We plop in front of a screen to numb ourselves from a day of sensory overload. But if we only break from the distractions and not replace it with a positive goal for flow, you'll always be pulled back into distraction sooner or later. It's not enough to strip away the distractions. That only creates a void. We need to strip them out and replace them with flow. Reading a book is flow. Statistics show that by 2017, the average American spent just 17 minutes a day reading books, but over 5 hours a day on their phone. We are replacing deep, empathy-building experiences like reading literature with the shallow, rapid-fire waters of social media. But why are we so desperate to distract ourselves? Because as a society, we're exhausted and we're deeply stressed. Today, 40% of adults are chronically sleep deprived. On top of that, we live in an environment of constant cultural, financial, political, and global instability. When we exist under prolonged stress, our biology enters a state of what's called hypervigilance. If you're walking in the woods and an angry grizzly bear appears, your brain stops worrying about long-term goals. It focuses entirely on immediate survival. And when our daily lives feel like a series of hidden or not so hidden stressors, we stay hypervigilant. We look for danger everywhere. We open our phones and we doom scroll, scanning for the next threat. For those of you that followed the book banning saga for me and my school, you know that those attacks were coming at me from multiple directions online, and I found that I spent most of my free time being hypervigilant. On social media, I was looking for the next attack, whether it was at a board meeting, within my own family, extremist websites, and just from strangers chiming in to troll in angry and somewhat threatening ways. To say that those were probably the worst years of my life is an understatement. I lost myself in the stress, and I kept looking for that next bear attack. An exhausted, hypervigilant society simply loses the bandwidth required for deep attention or living one's best life. So this is where standard self-help advice often falls short. Tech designers point out that we have to develop our individual skills to resist the apps. They tell us to examine our internal triggers and recognize that we're just trying to avoid uncomfortable emotions and use willpower to adapt. But Hari calls this cruel optimism. The unfair expectation that you, as an isolated individual, should easily outsmart a $1 trillion attention economy with a bit of self-discipline. If we look at this from a broader spiritual and humanistic lens, the battle for our attention is actually a battle for our quality of life. To lose our attention is to lose our ability to truly be present in our own lives and to the people around us. Silence and stillness are not empty voids we need to flee or fill with noise. They are the space where original thought, genuine self-reflection, and deep empathy are born. When we allow our attention to be entirely fragmented, we lose our capacity to truly listen to one another, to connect deeply, and to notice the beauty of the world right in front of us. Along with making space for states of flow, we also need to sometimes just think of nothing. Allowing our thoughts to just wander and not have anything else in the spotlight is another healthy practice. By letting our minds just go in any direction, we allow for more creativity, problem solving, making connections, and help us prepare for what may lie ahead. Even while focused, we have only so much bandwidth. By not focusing on anything at all, we still have the same amount of bandwidth, but we can use it to think in other ways. And I guess there's a reason that I come up with my best ideas and plans when I'm in the shower, right? There's nothing in there to distract me. We cannot simply strip away the distractions. We have to intentionally cultivate spaces of rest. We need to reclaim the ancient human practice of creating boundaries around our time, intentional windows where the world is allowed to move forward without our constant intervention. And those cell phones. We need to baby them more. And by baby them, I mean they should sleep in their own room at night, not charging or resting right by our bed. We need our own sleep and our own peace. So, in conclusion, Hari's book isn't so much as a self-help book with clear-cut answers or easy solutions. It's not that. His book is instead an awareness handbook. The assault on our focus is much more complicated than we actually realize. There's so many more things that he talks about in here. I don't have time to talk to you about it, but you need to read this book. Hari helps us be more aware of the man or the organizations behind the curtain pulling those puppet strings at us. And I've appreciated his insights so much. Now, as Unitarian Universalists, our faith offers a diverse toolkit of adaptable spiritual practices grounded in intention and presence that can help combat this battle for our collective attention. Lighting a flaming chalice before working creates a physical threshold that anchors focus, while daily reflective journaling, inspired by transcendentalism, clears the mind of distracting mental static and allows for flow. Physical practices like mindful walking, labyrinth walking, yoga, tai chi, meditation, or just being immersed in nature reconnects us to the present moment through our senses. Additionally, practicing deep listening in our UU small groups will help our mental muscle of sustained attention, teaching the brain to resist the urge to constantly react. And finally, slowing down to engage with poetry or sacred texts through humanistic lectio divina trains the mind to value depth over speed. Together, these rituals allow individuals to construct a personal covenant of attention that protects their time and mental clarity. We must protect our attention, not just so we can be more productive or efficient workers, but so we can remain fully human. Let us make our best effort to step out of this frantic juggling of the modern age and just dare to sit in the quiet and reclaim the depth and connection that we were naturally built to experience as individuals and as a collective whole. So may we be. It's time for the offering. That's me.
It's kind of funny. I hate to interrupt all this beautiful quiet, which is great. So Deb asked me to learn this song by Tom Chapin, and it's very ironic to me that I had to spend all this time on my laptop and my cell phone with an amplifier, and I have to transcribe it and write it on the laptop and look at the phone and then do all this and do all that. And it's about 20 years old, but you wanna try it, Deb?
Yeah.
Okay.
But hold on, we need to say our thing here.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, you can go. Okay. One of the privileges of our free church tradition is to provide all the financial support of our many ministries from among ourselves. Therefore, generosity is one of the spiritual values we recognize as central to our well-being. Our spiritual practice also extends to the greater community. There's also a box in the foyer for donations of food and local food pantry. Thank you all for your ongoing generosity.
All right, this one says signs of Tom Chapin. So, okay, this is a very playful song. Let's try it out. Okay, so
Here we go.
Epcot, Pikachu, Game Boy, Barbie doll, Tetris, Skeleton, Joy, Nightclub, Lunchbox, Valley Pack, Big League, Sneakerway, Cartoon Universe, Teletubby. It's remake of a remake of a remake, all new episodes all day long. Get the movie, check soundtrack, check website, everybody log on.
The signs of dawn, the day begins. We walk outside, the grass is sweet, the breath of life. We start again, again we start.
Fast track, nursing school, get it on the A-list, soccer team, trumpet lessons, taekwondo. High school, regional, varsity, finalist, gotta be a 4.0. Take a test, do the math, Big Ten scholarship, MBA, you're a big success with salary, check, benefits, check, pension plan, check, stop options. Yes.
The signs of dawn, the day begins, the wind is warm, a storm is near, the breath of life. We start again we start.
When our feet don't feel the earth,
Breathe in,
and our eyes don't see the stars,
see it,
when nature is not with us,
not with us.
our hearts become hard.
Our hearts become hard.
Laptop, gigabyte, untold megahertz, memory, bandwidth, digital war, global internet, econ, synergy, FedEx, overnight at your door, shopping mall, multiplex, food court, colony, running in place. Stop the riot, get outside, feel the rain on your face.
The signs of dawn, the day begins, the rain comes down, the grass is wet, the wind is warm. We start again
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ian. That was not an easy one for him. Easier for me. All right. Whoops. Okay. So remember that you do not have to outsmart a $1 trillion attention economy with sheer willpower alone. Instead, rely on your tools, the intentional rituals that anchor you, the deep listening that connects you, and the sacred boundaries you choose to draw around your time. And the next time the quiet feels a little too loud, or the digital world beckons you to look away, pause. Recognize that the prickle of boredom or anxiety isn't something to flee. It's an invitation to lean into and return to yourself, to notice the beauty right in front of you, and to remain fully human. Okay, if you would stand as you can, we're going to close with hymn number 21, For the Beauty of the Earth.